Welcome to the Coaches Show. We are in the dressing room of the football team. Coach Tennant, week 4 already. My word, time flies.
I know. I told that to the seniors and they couldn't believe it. They should have seen the look on their faces when I told them, we're almost halfway through.
It just seems to just started.
Yeah.
You're on the road again for the 3rd week in a row. You go up to AAA Elkins, Big Ten opponent. And I'll tell you what, Josiah Noose was what can you say about the young man?
Yeah, we lined him up in some different spots, diversified our offense a little bit, and it paid off. He had a great effort. He has some things to clean up, but he rushed for 286 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's pretty strong.
And it was a good game. The first half, you're only up 13-0. Into the first quarter, it's 7-0. Noose runs an 84-yard run for your only touchdown.
Yeah, I would feel like we left some points on the field, especially in the 3rd quarter where we fumbled the ball twice and we fumbled it once through an interception, and we felt like we left points on the board, and our defense was strong most of the night, but then we let up and gave up a couple long runs. Aside from that, we held them pretty good.
And looking at the defense, either I wasn't seeing right, or you changed from that 3-5 defense into like a 4-man, 2 end standing up to change your defense.
Yeah, we changed it for this offense. It's a unique offense. We didn't feel like we could defend it very well out of 3-5, so we took out a linebacker and added another defensive lineman, and it paid off. Elkins is averaging 43 points a game, and we held them 17 points. We gave up a lot of yardage, but it was 17 points.
And he had a few penalties and a few other odds and ends, but things worked out and back to second half, and it was just your defense. I mean, young man, the Tasker boy, the Newsom boy, the Shroud boy. I mean, number of tackles they made, just all the time.
Yeah, I think that may be the secret to stopping this offense, is having 2 strong defenders on the strong side and then a very good defender on the weak side, and you can stop a lot of what they want to do if you've got your best athletes on the edges.
He shut down the Kelly boy. I mean, he's been running wildfire the first 3 ball games. Shut him down.
Yeah, he broke a long one late in the game, but I was real proud of the defense. The way the kids played, it was outstanding for the most part.
Yeah. So you end up winning 32-17, Coach. You go to 2-2 in the season. Are you where you thought you would want to be, or are you a little bit worse than you thought you were going to be?
We're in a good place. I thought we could be better, but it could be worse. I think we're in a good place. We're 2-2 with some ball games coming up that we should be favored in, but you never know how kids are going to play, how coaches are going to coach. We've got a great opportunity in front of us, and we hope to take advantage of it.
So you go to 2-2 in the season, you're 500, and you're going into week 5 here. Injury report. I know you really hit in practice. You're still making contact in practice. How's the health of the boys?
We've got a couple kids nicked up. We helped some kids out of practice last week, but they were able to go on Friday. We were missing a 2-way starter that missed last week's game and is probably going to miss this week's game. So we've got to be smart about what we do in practice. Haven't gotten anybody hurt in practice. It's all been due to the game, but it's just an opportunity for someone else to step up, and that's what we need, and that's the situation we're in. And we'll go on. Injuries are part of the game, and we just have to adapt and overcome.
I see Scott Stone usually is not involved in any contact drills.
Right. He's our only quarterback with varsity experience, and it wouldn't be very smart on our part to get him hurt in practice. So we try to minimize the hits that he takes throughout the year, because if he goes down, then our offense changes.
Coach, I look at all the helmets now, and I see more and more insignias on the helmets, and the boys are getting significance of all these emblems on the helmets.
We call them decals. They're performance, based on performance. If you grade out a certain average, you get so many decals. Everybody gets one that played if we win. Players of the week get a certain amount of decals. You get a certain amount for tackles. There's criteria for offense, defense, and special teams. Some of them are individual, some of them are team-based. One goal is to rush for over 200 yards. If we do that, then the whole team, the whole offensive team gets a decal. Turnovers, intercepting the football, blocking kicks, various things that happen. We like to reward the kids.
Players of the week for the Elkins game.
Offense, it was Austin Powell. He had some good runs, excellent blocking. Defense, Cameron Strout. He's one of those kids on the edge that had 11 tackles. Special teams, Austin Newsom. He had 4 tackles on special teams. And Scout Team Player of the Week for this week, Ben Brain.
Good, and I don't know if Steve Blake can get a picture, but somewhere behind us there's some pictures that you put up here in the locker room of the players of the week.
Right. Haven't got this week's up, but we have past weeks. Yeah, we like to honor them, and at the end of the year at our banquet, we put those frames out on tables, and the kids can take them home after that.
Yeah, good. Coach, looking at some scores last week, Buchanan put the hurts to your team coming up in North Marion, 40-7. And Coach Hayes said that Buchanan put a hurt on physically. They were just physical.
Yeah. 40-7. We've been watching that film. They just ran over them. They ran around them, through them, behind them, reversed them. They did just about everything that you could do. And North Marion, traditionally they've been a physical team, and I'm sure we're going to get their best shot this Friday.
Yeah. Look at Grafton lost their first ball game. Double A Weir beat them 47-32.
They've gotten off their offense rolling.
East Fairmont wins their first ball game. They beat Lincoln 31-21. Lewis County moved to 3-1. They beat Fairmont Senior 23-7. And Bridgeport put a hurting on R.C. Bird 31-7.
Yeah, I haven't seen Bridgeport on film, but I saw RCV beat Fairmont Senior pretty bad. So I was real impressed with RCV. So Bridgeport must be right where they were last year.
One that really surprised me was the University High School beat Wheeling Park 17-14. With all the offensive injuries that Coach Kelly has, again, 17-14, University High over Wheeling Park.
Yeah, they're always going to be solid. They always have a solid defense. That's what wins games in the end. And it's a low-scoring game, and I guess the defense held on and stopped them at the end to win the game.
Hedgesville was leading for quite a while in their ball game against the new high school Spring Mills down in Berkeley County, but they end up losing 35-28. Hedgesville goes to 0-4 on the season.
Yeah, they've given up a lot of points. I'm not sure what's going on down there. Hopefully we'll get some film on them next week and try to figure out how to beat them.
And looking at the Big Ten Conference, Bridgeport 3-0, Grafton 2-0, Liberty 3-1, Lewis County 2-1, Buchanan Upshur 2-1, Bird 2-1, Elkins 1-1, Preston 1-2 in the Big Ten. North Marion 0-3 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that Fairmont Senior game we played is going to haunt us. Hopefully it doesn't, but I have a feeling if things don't work out the way they should, that will really hurt us.
Coach, the SSAC ratings for Week 4 came out today. Preston right now is number 20, and we know that the top 16 go to the playoffs. You're 2-2, and looking at your schedule, just something to do, looking at your schedule, North Marion, who you play Friday night, they're 0-3. Hedgesville, 0-4. East Fairmont, 1-3. University, 3-1. Buchanan Upshur, 2-1. Bridgeport, 3-1. What's it going to take, really, to get you into the playoffs? 6 wins?
Well, I think 6 wins might get us there. 7 probably for sure. Right now, we're just focused on North Marion. That's the most important game on our schedule right now. Because if we go down there and not perform very well, then we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. So we've got to go out down there and handle our business. Keep preparing. We've got a good day of practice today. It's always a challenge this time of year to keep these kids focused. There's a lot going on this week, and that's been my main focus this week, is keeping them focused and preparing them for North Marion.
It's Buckwheat Festival time here in Preston County, and the football players are involved in a lot of different activities, whether it be escorts for the parade or whether to have animals down at the barns and so forth. So they're very busy kids, not only here at school, but football practice, and trying to keep their attention to football for Friday night is probably very difficult.
Yeah, we got kids in ROTC, we have kids in band, we have kids showing animals, we've got escorts. It's very busy, but we try to focus. 2 years ago, it was the same deal. We went down to North Marion and got our first win of the year that year. So hopefully our kids can stay focused and go out and perform.
Now, looking at some stats, you gave me the stats, and I'll tell you, these stats you gave me are quite impressive. It's got about anything and everything a person would know about your football team, and I don't know who puts all that information in there, whether it's you or...
Well, I have two young ladies, Dixie Shahan and Nikki Nice, that come to the games, and they have a laptop, and we've got a software program, and they enter every play into the game, of the game, what happened, and it analyzes it, so they do a good job for us.
10 pages of stats. I mean, it's just amazing going through there, and I've always complained about it. Never get any stats, But Coach Tennant, with the email and the technology and the programs now that he has, everything and anything's available.
Yeah. Good and bad.
Oh, hey. I'm just looking at a couple of them. Josiah Noose right now, 686 yards, 92 attempts, 9 touchdowns, 7.4 yards per carry, 171 yards per game.
That's impressive. Those 9 touchdowns. I don't know who's got more than that. I'm sure there's someone that does, but he's right up there with the top backs in the state, I think.
And looking at Scott Stone, and I know we're a predominantly running, power-eye football team. Scott Stone, 26 for 51, 3 interceptions, 239 yards in the first 4 ball games.
Yeah, there's a lot to go in the passing game. It's just not the quarterback. We have to have receivers running correct routes. We have to have the offensive line giving him enough time to make his reads. And he's got to throw the ball accurately. So all 3 factors weigh into his numbers.
Looking at early in the season, when I was watching the Newsom boy, the Smith, and the Manier boys, and some of those boys, they're catching the football. It just seems now either they're not running the right routes, or they're dropping the ball, or the communication between Scott and them is just somewhere lacking right now.
We've emphasized that. In Fairmont Senior, we dropped 5 balls. Against Elkins, we didn't drop any. So we put an emphasis on the passing game because we realized we were too one-dimensional at Fairmont Senior. And if you saw our Elkins game, we were pretty diversified. We threw the ball maybe, can't remember, 9-10 times. A big completion, and we spread them out a little bit. That loosened up the running game.
Yeah, the teams were putting 8 or 9 men on the line, where it's because you run that power-eye formation, and with Newsom and Powell in there, I said, all right, we'll put 9 men on there and just dare you to pass. But you start a little bit of different offensive formations for Newsom and boys.
We can throw the football. It's just it's something we still need to work on, pass protection-wise, route running, and concentration. And I think we're going to get better throughout the year. We have to, because we just can't rely on running the football. We have to be more balanced. And I think one of the keys to success Friday was that we were balanced, more balanced. Not as much as we want to, but we were balanced enough to keep those 9-10 kids out of the box.
Because I know how well you scout and how you break down tapes of your opponents. And I'm sure North Marion and Hedgesville and East Fairmont, those teams are going to be doing the same thing. And they'll see a little bit different stuff coming on each week. So they'll have more to prepare for.
Yeah, we talked about that Sunday in our meeting. First 3 weeks, all we ran basically was the I formation, power I. Then Friday we came out and we call it our spread package, split back package, and they're going to have to be able to defend both the run and the pass.
Coach, you made school history the other night, the middle school.
Oh yeah,
49-7 over East Fairmont.
yeah. That was impressive. Those kids look good. Most impressive thing I saw, they were out there. They were just having the time of their lives, and it was a good crowd, good atmosphere. It was a great win for them.
And when I was talking to some of the players as they was going by, I mean, they were so enthused, you know what I mean, and had that emotion about, oh yeah, we won, we beat them 49-7. I mean, they were just happy as could be.
Yeah, they go on the road Wednesday, tomorrow, go back to North Marion and play the Husky Pups.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good test.
JV game, Monday. How did we do that?
We beat Elkins 21-7, I believe.
Okay.
21 or 28.
JV team.
They look well. It's been a good week here.
Good, that's great. That's great.
They're a real good week.
So again, the football program is just continuing to make a building blocks and continues to improve year after year.
Yeah, I got to thank the kids. They really committed themselves. I have to thank the coaches. They've always been committed. Parents have been very supportive. Businesses very supportive. It makes a big difference.
And Coach, you still got over 50 players out. I mean, in previous years, if you had 30 or 35 out, it was, quote, a miracle. Now you still have over 51 kids on the football team.
Yeah, I'd like to have about 10 more. We order 60 uniforms. We order for 60 kids.
Yeah.
We got 50, which is good, but we need a few more. And there's a few kids in the school that could play, could help us. They just have to want to make the commitment to do what it takes.
And winning supposedly will break that edge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you're on the path to do that.
Well, I know we've been working pretty hard the last few years, and all our credit goes to the kids.
Well, you know, the time you put in, if you look at the time that you put in, it's not just during football season, it's year round.
Yeah, being a head coach is a year-round job. I don't see how anybody could not look at it that way.
Yeah.
You know, from strength and conditioning, January, all the way through June, and then this 3-week practice period, and then the summer week training, and then August practice. So. But I don't really think of it as a job.
But football's work. Football's work, and you've got to have a passion for football if you're a young man, and time and put in. Used to, when I was coaching back in the 70s and 60s, you know, football season, when football season was over, you put the pads away, you didn't do any football till the next season.
Yeah.
Basketball, baseball, whatever, there was no overlap. And the kids were playing 2 or 3 sports. Now, basically, our kids are playing one sport.
Yeah, I don't like that. I encourage our kids to play other sports, especially wrestling and lacrosse. Those 2 sports really help football players with their skills. Any sport they play, it just makes them a better athlete, and that's what we need here at Preston, more athletic kids. And the more sports you play, the more athletic you're going to be.
Yeah. Coach, week 5, you're on the road again, down to North Marion. Your alma mater down there, and of course I know probably your family still lives there. And
oh yeah.
I know your relatives live there.
Yeah, they'll be at the game. I don't know what side they'll sit on, but they'll be there.
Is there any harassing of you about going down there?
No, they're pretty supportive. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's a nice place. They just put a new turf field in, so that's going to be different. And they should have a nice crowd. They always have a good student section, and we should have a nice crowd. We've been carrying a lot of people with us, so that's good. Looking forward to it.
Last year, you really put a hurting on North Marion. You beat them 41-14, and they're 0-3 on the season, and they've been giving up a lot of points. I mean, Elkins beat them 50-20. Fairmont Senior beat them 33-7. Buckhannon beat them Friday night 40-7. They're giving up a lot of points. Their offense, a lot of points. They're only scoring 11 points per game, and they're giving up 41.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, on paper, we're favored in this game, but you never know. We're talking about teenagers here, and there's a lot of different things going on in a teenager's head. So if we take these kids lightly, then they're going to embarrass us. And this is an interesting test for our program. Have we taken the next step? Have we learned how to take care of business?
Yeah, this is a game you should win.
Yeah, and well, if we play like we're capable of, yeah, we should. But like I said, this is a test. This is a game that we should win. Let's go out and do it.
Break down North Marion's offense for me, because look at the 95% run.
Yeah. Coach Hayes gone away from the spread. He's been in the spread the last few years, and he said it publicly several times that he wants to run the football, wants to be a power football team, and that's what we see on film. They don't throw it much. They'll line up in 2 tight ends, split backs, I formation. They can run the sweep, jet sweep, ISOs. Then they'll come back with a counter scissors play, fake jet. We got to be prepared. I think if we stay in our base package and pick our spots on the blitz, we could be successful. But if we go down there and give up the opening kickoff like we did against West, that's going to give us North Marion kids life.
Yeah.
That's a proud program, and they're not going to quit.
Get them down. Just got to get them down early.
Yeah.
And
you give them life early.
Yeah.
Then I hope you don't see a repeat of what happened in Fairmont.
And just looking at our linemen, the beef is there for our line compared to the size of their kids.
Yeah. I knew that going into the season. We had a pretty big offensive line. We just got to play more consistent and be more fundamentally sound. And we can push people off the ball, but like you said, if that's all we do, then they're just going to pack the box and outnumber us, and it's going to be tough. So we got to continue to diversify and be more balanced.
And look at their stats for the first 3 ball games. They've got 3 players that divide up evenly probably with running the ball. Number 22, the Wheeler boy. Number 24, the Stanley boy. And number 30, the Redmond boy. Usually share the most number of runs. And of course, their quarterback, the Elliott boy, really his passing has improved, but he really doesn't throw the ball that much.
No, he doesn't. I think he's just a sophomore. He played for him last year as a freshman.
Yeah, 5'9", 145-pound sophomore.
I know he's a heck of a wrestler, and that Stanley boy's a heck of a wrestler. So wrestlers usually are pretty good football players. Mm-hmm. So they're going to make plays if we let them.
And again, they have a good kicker. The Funkhauser boy's only a sophomore, but he's a pretty good kicker.
Yeah, we've seen some good kickers.
The boy from Elkins, I think that boy from Elkins may be a Division 1 or 2 kicker one of these days.
Yeah, he's just a freshman.
Yeah.
And that soccer player that Fairmont Senior brought in, we'd never seen before.
He's only a freshman.
We saw on film where they were only kicking it to the 25, and then we go down there 2 weeks ago, and he's kicked every single one of them out of the end zone. That was
so you got a long field.
Yeah.
Again, the thing is, you gave up a couple big plays against Elkins. And I'm sure that's one of the things you want to stop again, especially against North Marion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, if good things happen to them in the beginning, they're going to start believing again, and they're going to bring a passion and intensity that they haven't seen. And our kids got to be able to match that, or it's going to be a long night.
Now, they got some receivers who catch a football, and we've had some problems in the middle of stopping the pass. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that North Marion has probably saw it on film.
Yeah, they've had some tall receivers, a couple kids over 6 foot. They're not very bulky, but they're lanky, and they can run down the field and out-jump us. So we got to get pressure on the quarterback, make that quarterback run around, hopefully throw a bad pass, and we can catch it.
Yeah, the Riggs boy, number 15, 6 foot 175 senior. I think he's caught 2 or 3 passes, but he hadn't thrown that many. Then you got number 14, the Jones boy, 6'2". He's caught a few passes for him.
And number 15,
the Riggs boy.
Riggs.
Yeah.
He's probably their best offensive weapon as far as receiving goes and running the jet sweep. And the Stanley boy, he's the tailback. He runs hard. He's He's a smaller size player. It's hard to find sometimes, and he won't go down with one person. He's got that low center of gravity. He's got that wrestling background. He's always going to be have pretty good balance and leaning forward. So we've got to be able to make secure tackles.
And what do you, North Marion, we probably know is going to have 8 or 9 men in the box on you to start the ball game. Are you going to have a change in your offense again this week?
No, I think we're going to continue what we did. We spread them out. If they want to leave them 9, 10 in the box, then you're going to see us run the jet sweep all night until they stop it. If you have 10 in the box, it's hard to cover that sweep. They've got to honor both our outside and inside game.
I saw you run the jet sweep tonight numerous times, trying to shore up the blocking assignments on that side for Josiah.
Yeah, like I said, we left some points on the board or on the field last week. We blocked it well. Sometimes we didn't block it at all. If we're more consistent, I mean, that's going to put a real bind in a defensive coordinator. You don't know whether to try to stop us from the outside or try to stop our power game.
Coach, on the road again, North Marion, Friday night. So take time and after the parade and head down to Farmington.
Rachel. Right outside of Farmington.
Yeah. And watch the Preston Knights play the 0-3 North Marion Huskies, a Big Ten school, AA school, the school of Coach Tennant.
Yeah, alma mater.
Oh, yes. So, on behalf of Coach Tennant, any final remarks?
No, I think we're good. Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
2-2 against 3-0 North Marion, Friday night on the road. So, on behalf of Steve Blake, Coach Tennant, this is Gary Livengood. Good, thanking you for watching the Coaches Show.
From a simple switch, troubleshooting a problem, a new service, to that backup generator that you'll need in times of emergency, Blake Electric can handle all your electrical needs. They have the experience and knowledge to do it professionally and safely and do the job right the first time. There's been an accident. The emergency has left you with physical trauma and legal issues to deal with. The bills are piling up, and you're overwhelmed. Where do you turn for legal representation?
Hi, I'm Paul Eastep.
And I'm Steve Schaefer.
We're attorneys practicing right here in your home county of Preston.
Centrally located on West Main Street in Kingwood, just across from McDonald's, the offices of Eastep and Schaefer are an easy drive from anywhere in Preston County.
You don't have to go outside Preston County to hire a lawyer with the know-how, the experience, and the knowledge to represent you fairly in a serious personal injury matter. Call us at Eastep and Schaefer at 329-6003 or visit us on the web at www.eastepschaeferlaw.com.